Hey, Kyle is wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's BTE being the elite and AEW Dark Elevation from July 11th, 2022. And we'll just get right into it. We've got a lot to cover. Both episodes of BT and Elevation today were amazing. So let's just get right into it. And just remember last week on BTE, the big news coming out of that was Matt Jackson was about to send Hangman Page a heartfelt text, but then deleted it before sending. So last time we saw Hangman on BT, he was looking for a broom, a cleaner Kenny Omega reference there. So a lot has been going on, and we can see in the thumbnail of this episode is Hangman with the Dark Order, so we'll see that at some point. And the title of this BT episode, number 314, is "You Got to Keep Going," which we'll find out who this is. There's a lot of funny moments and a lot of heartfelt, emotional moments within this BTE, and which is really cool. So everything's good other than the shoe stuff, which I don't care about shoes, so I don't really care for that. Anyway, we start this week's BTE with John Silver finally holding on to his BTE championship. Johnny Hungy won the title as a surprise entrance. I think it was all the way back at the Double or Nothing Fan Fest, but maybe it was the Forbidden Door one. Anyway, last week Chuck Taylor beat Evil Uno to become number one contender for the BTE title. There was a few preliminary matches within the last couple of weeks, but they've all been pretty boring. But this one ended up being pretty good. And this is a title match. So Chucky T is standing there. He won the number one contendership last week against Evil Uno. Chucky T is eating a sandwich on a uh, paper plate, and John Silver tells us that they will have to throw these paper plates onto the table from far away, like a frisbee. So if you can get it on the table and your opponent does not, you get a point. If they both go on the table, whoever's closest to the middle of the table gets a point. So it goes to the best of five, and usually you have to win by two in these competitions. So Chucky T tries to do it without looking at the very first shot and makes a perfect shot into the trash can on the side, which would have been way harder of a target to hit than getting it on the table. So that was pretty funny. Silver misses his first try. I'm not going to go blow for blow, but this is way better than the preliminary matches for the last few weeks. So I guess they were saving the good one for the title match. And the reason this one's fun is because the frisbee plates have like a mind of their own, so it's fun to see where they're going to land. After a little while, we're tied at two, and usually it goes to five, and you have to win by two. Like I said, Silver goes up 3-2, then 4-2, and Silver hits the final shot of the match on the table to win the match. The winner of the match by 5-2, and still BTE champion is John Silver. So he will go on to retain his belt somewhere else. I mean, defend his belt again. Then we get the BT opening, and we see the Bucks traveling to Rochester, New York, where Dynamite was last week. They show off Satnam Singh's size 20 shoes. It's about 3 times larger than Matt Jackson. Then we see Nick Jackson get to his hotel room. He puts on the privacy note, locks the door, flips off 3 mirrors, and then looks for more mirrors, but there are none left. And Nick tells us it's 2 a.m., and it took 15 hours since they left their house to get to the hotel room. And so long trip there. 15 hours is no joke when it's all said and done. Now we see Ryan Nemeth and his cute dog. It's a pit bull. Hopefully no weird glitches for 2 straight weeks. Ryan Nemeth on BT has been having these really weird glitching segments, but this one's really good. Ryan is funny, trying to talk to his dog who just wants to sleep. Nemeth is asking the dog what's the most important qualities of a wrestler, who's has the better work rate, Danielson or Claudio. And then the dog starts licking him, and Ryan's like, "Come on, man! I'm trying to talk about 5-star bangers and work rate." Really funny segment there, and I like dogs, so that one gets a thumbs up from me. The Young Bucks are in their car now, saying they're about to be late for the AEW show, not like the actual show, but whatever time they were supposed to be there. And then they say, "Please don't fire us, Tony." And then they start talking about shoes and go shoe shopping instead of showing up on time. And then they say since Brandon Cutler hasn't been around as much, they might get their new driver some shoes as well, and they do. And then they show off all the new shoes. So in the back of the arena now is Leva Bates. She's reading a book. She got drunk and with Peter Avalon while they're in Vegas for Double or Nothing, and they got married while drunk. Um, just like they were definitely playing off the Triple H and Stephanie wedding for sure. We hear JD Drake in the background on the phone. I think he was talking to pretty Peter Avalon, who told, as we find out, JD was told to go apologize to Leva for all the things JD has been saying over the past few months, probably for a long time now. And JD comes over to talk and says, "This isn't easy. I said some things I probably shouldn't have said." And then he apologized. "I apologize. You're not a bad person. I was just looking out for my wingman. Peter wanted me to apologize." But then JD says, "Oh, never mind. I take it all back. You're still a carny B word." So that was pretty funny. He just leaves after that, and Bates is all upset. So now we get the slow motion of the Bucks showing off the AEW titles. And then after that, it's just Matt Jackson sitting in the locker room by himself. Then Matt Hardy walks in out of nowhere. So Matt Jackson is like, "What the heck? After all we've been through, you're just going to walk in here? Get out of here." So Matt Hardy has an ice bag, and this must be sometime after Luchasaurus destroyed him on Dynamite. So Matt Hardy says, "I deserve the name calling. You see, did you see that out there?" And Matt Jackson says, "Yeah, I was clapping and laughing." And Hardy says, "Yeah, I get it. I'm a POS, but I need to atone with you. I'm here to make things right with you and Nick. I'm here to pay my penance. What happened to my brother is my fault." This is all Matt Hardy talking. This is pretty intense here. So we've seen Matt Hardy. It was either last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. He was on BTE saying that he feels like it's his fault for pushing his brother to come back and join him here in AEW, and because Matt wanted to finish the legacy and finish with like one more run, basically, to cement the legacy. So um, again, going back to Matt Hardy again, he's talking to Matt Jackson alone in a locker room, and Matt Hardy says, "What happened to my brother is my fault. Did you see Rampage? My real Rampage entrance was during the picture-in-picture, like a jobber, but I deserve it. You know, who eliminated me? The Butcher and the Blade, because I screwed them over too. I milked them for every dime I could get out of them. I did the same to Private Party. They were on their way to becoming stars after they beat you, and I screwed them up." Then Matt Jackson says, "Well, you're still a legend." Matt Hardy interrupts, yelling, "Don't compliment me. I'm toxic." Matt Jackson's super uncomfortable at this point. Matt Hardy then breaks the fourth wall by calmly saying, "I saw what you did last week. You were going to text Hangman and make it right. All of your other friends are hurt. You know whose fault that was? It was my fault. That's on me. Those are my sins. And I am sorry. Sorry I screwed your relationships and friendships up. Tonight, Christian Cage embarrassed me. He trash talked my family, and Luchasaurus beat the hell out of me. And I deserved every single bit of it. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me." And then Matt Hardy leaves. Matt Jackson says, "Well, that was rough, but I don't forgive him." And that's interesting. So really good stuff. 2 out of the last 3 weeks, really heartfelt stuff by Matt Hardy, and that's not the only heartfelt thing we get out of this episode. So now in the back of the arena, Dark Order have a roll call. It's Evil Uno, Anna J, 10, Reynolds, and Silver. They try to count down the numbers, but they're missing 2 and 5. Anna never had a number. And then Uno asks, "Well, who was even between 5 and 10? Silver says, "Well, we just gave it to random people." So Uno says he wants to address something. With Alan and Stu gone and Colt, we don't even know where he went, but we are still the Dark Order. Order is forever. Then they talk about some of the Dark Order highlights. They can think about the entrance in Charlotte and then struggle to think of any more highlights, which is sad. Um, Anna says she misses Stu. Then they all say that they miss up beating Alan, and Hangman walks in. So Uno says, "We were just reminiscing about old times." Hangman asks them if they're down since half their group is gone, but you can't be down. You can't let it eat at you. You guys are friends, and that lasts forever. You're standing here thinking of them, and wherever they are, they're probably thinking of you too. If it ever comes to it, they'll always have your back the same way I always have your back, because you guys have always had my back before. Look, it doesn't matter how many different paths you all go down. The important thing is that you keep going, because that's what they would want for you. It's not too far to fix those friendships. I don't know, maybe that's dumb." And then Hangman gets anxiety and leaves. Dark Order is pumped from the speech. Silver says, "Well, we still have a problem now that Alan is gone. Who has the smallest D?" And Uno says, well, probably Anna. Anna says, I'm out of this conversation. 10 says, well, you know what 10 stands for? And Silver says, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And that was the ending of BTE. Great episode here. The BTE title match was really good, best in months. Every segment was either funny or emotional, other than the shoes segment. Awesome stuff here. Definitely go watch this on the Being the Elite YouTube page. And of course, Hangman was giving the speech there, basically just talking about his own stuff with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and stuff like that. So interesting there, definitely interesting. We'll see where this goes next week on BTE or in the future on Dynamite and stuff. So let's just get right into it. It was a really good episode of Dark Elevation. It was taped or recorded on July 6th in Rochester, New York, before Dynamite last week, and then aired today on July 11th on YouTube. So the first thing we see pumps me up a lot when Elevation starts. It's the return of Emi Sakura. I love Emi Sakura. She's got a massive 9.13 out of 10 user submitted rating on cagematch.net. Emi, who despite now being around 800 days since appearing on Dynamite, is very valuable to the AEW product. She's one of the best trainers in women's wrestling history, and that's where that all those high ratings come with, along with her 26-year career. So Emi Sakura is great for the product to have trained some of these youngsters, even despite her never being in storylines or on actual Dynamite. So Emi's been gone now for about 5 weeks. But since she's a regular on Elevation, she was definitely missed. It seemed like longer than that. I was surprised when I saw it was only 5 weeks. Emi went back to the promotion that she owns in Japan, Gota Move, Choco Pro, and where she had 8 matches in a 3-week span, all of them around the 15-minute mark, all at the age of 45. Great stuff from her. And Emi Sakura's opponent will be 22-year-old Paris Van Dale, a 2-year pro from Florida. Paris has had about 50 matches in her entire career, mostly all around the independents in New England, and she had trained at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. Emi comes in with a 5-2 record in 2022, and unfortunately did not bring Lulu Pencil back with her from Japan, or May Saruga. So, but I love Lulu Pencil. I miss Lulu Pencil. I hope she comes back again soon. Paris Van Dale has an AEW record of 0-1. She lost a trios match back in February to Diamante, Nyla Rose, and Emi Sakura. So this is not their first time in the ring together. Caprice Coleman joins Tony Schiavone on commentary, which is great news. Coleman says that he started the same year in wrestling as Emi did back in 1995. And like I said, this is the second time these two women have been in the ring together, both of them on Elevation. So Emi starts with a really big hair deal. Then Emi locks Paris into the Paradise Lock and then sits on her back drinking some imaginary tea. When Paris gets up, Emi tells Paris to hit her in the face, which she does twice, Paris does, but Emi shakes it off. And Paris is able to hit an X Factor and a Bulldog right after that for a 2 count. Good looking moves. I noticed on her page one of her big moves is the X Factor. She pulled it off pretty good there. Emi then blocks a suplex and bites the hand of Paris. Emi goes immediately smoothly from the biting of the hand into a spinning neck breaker. That was awesome looking. Emi then hits the We Will Rock You chops and crossbody to the corner, and then the double underhook delayed backbreaker, the Queen's Gambit for the 1-2-3. Your winner by pinfall is Emi Sakura. Emi only ever usually hits her 5 moves of doom at this stage in her career, but like I said, she's here to train people in front of the ring, in front of fans, as well as probably spending hours before the show training the different women. So especially the youngsters like an Anna Jay and a Julia Hart. So holy crap, we're told that tomorrow on Dark, Tuesday on Dark, will be an AEW Women's World Title Eliminator match, and it'll be Thunder Rosa versus Mayu Yamashita. Definitely looking forward to that. Can't believe just a random Thunder Rosa Mayu Yamashita match on Dark tomorrow, and that's not it. So Not only that, but we'll also get to see over the weekend Pac defended his All Atlantic title against Shota Umino at Rev Pro in the UK, and that match will also be on Dark tomorrow. So Dark is going to be amazing on Tuesday. Come back to the channel. I'll be reviewing that. And I heard it was a pretty good AEW with RJ City this week. His special guests were Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero both. So that should be a good show. Come check out that review. I'll have it up Tuesday night. So anyway, the next match, JD Drake is making his entrance with an abysmal 4-40 record in AEW. No wingmen out here to accompany JD Drake. Coleman said he trained with JD in North Carolina. Then his opponent will be Dante Martin. He comes out with a really good 51-28 record in AEW. The crowd goes absolutely wild for Dante Martin. Good to see that. And Caprice makes a good point by saying the crowd lights up every time they see Dante Martin because they know they're going to see something special, which is a really good point. Like I said, Dante can go out there and basically in front of and fight anyone, and the crowd is going to get hyped. So huge Dante chance. Wow, maybe Dante Martin could even be a potential person that you could put the All Atlantic title on if they wanted to give Dante a big win and a title. Dante versus Pac would be an amazing match, and that would be a big win for Dante if it happened. So maybe something to think about in the future, especially with all these reactions that Dante's getting. So Dante Martin and JD Drake have fought each other before on Elevation back in September. Dante won that match. And I think I can remember that match. I remember it when I see a JD Drake move later that I'll let you know about. So Dante starts the match hilariously doing a backflip off the belly of JD Drake. Um, Low blow there. JD Drake catching strays on that one. Wow. Dante then hits a nice drop kick, but JD bails the ring and walks away. This prevents Dante from diving out onto him. When Dante goes outside the ring to get JD, then Dante gets caught, and this is the move that I remembered from their last match together. It's like a nasty pop up spring off the ropes while you're standing outside into a big forearm. Love that move from JD Drake. I think I've only ever seen it in AEW against Dante Martin in that other match. That move always looks nasty. Love that move. JD then keeps control when they get back in the ring, slowing the pace way down. JD hits some strikes and really loud chops, but Dante reverses it into a flurry of punches of his own. But it only takes one strike from JD to knock down Dante, and then a massive looking belly to back suplex has Dante in trouble. That suplex was amazing looking. It looked like it really hurt Dante. JD is completely underrated, and Dante's selling and bumping is probably underrated too. Really good stuff here. The crowd now rallies behind Dante big time, who reverses a move into a roll up for a 2. JD then catches a corner splash into a slam, but misses his Vader bomb attempt. Dante then kicks and dodges a corner splash, then flips over JD from one side of the apron to the other. That was awesome looking. But JD is able to catch Dante and deadlifts him up for a superplex. Dante's able to block it and hit a massive crossbody off the top rope. JD went to go catch this one as well, but Dante was so high in the air off his jump that JD went straight to the ground after the catch. So we get about 3 or 4 more insane not dives, but flips by Dante. And then JD hits a Claymore out of nowhere for a 2 count. Great match here, especially for Elevation or Dark standards. Dante then springboards to evade a couple more moves, and right after dodges a cannonball in senton from JD. That was a good looking flurry. Dante then goes right off of that into his double springboard moonsault, his finishing move. I forget the name, and we didn't have Excalibur there this time to tell us all the names of these moves, but something about flight. Anyway, 1, 2, 3 off of that, of course. The winner of the match by pinfall is Dante Martin. And do not forget, people, that Dante Martin is only 21 years old. Hopefully the man can stay healthy because of his wild style. So send your thoughts and whatnot so that Dante Martin does not sustain any injuries. He's got a bright future. So we go after that one. We keep the youngsters theme with the next match as 20-year-old Julia Hart makes her really cool House of Black entrance. Julia's hair is crimped this time and somehow makes her look a little even more evil. Good look here from her. One of her eyes is completely black with a contact, and that looks great. Julia comes in with a 6-3 record in all of 2022. Her opponent's going to be JC. JC does not have a cagematch.net page, so I could not find any info on her. And this is JC's AEW debut. So Julia actually came out alone, but she does look like a star. JC is scared from the entrance, and Julia stares through JC's soul after the bell is even rang. So Julia slowly inches forward, then yells "boo," and this makes JC fall to her butt. And which I'm guessing they needed, they couldn't convince anybody of any note to be doing moves like this in the ring. So I'm guessing JC just starting out in their career and was willing to take this AEW, get on TV and stuff. So the crowd didn't react to that move at all. By the way, the crowd's completely dead. Julia's forced to break a chokehold from the referee, and then Julia pushes the ref, and JC gets a couple strikes in. But Julia is able to hit a big kick and goes back to a two-handed choke. Julia's forced to break the hold yet again because it's an illegal choke. But Julia immediately locks in a brutalizer looking submission, kind of almost exactly like Pac's. That's why I called it the brutalizer, but it might be different. Anyway, this makes JC tap out. Your winner by submission is Julia Hart. Kind of a nothing match here. The crowd was completely dead. And other than the entrance, and other than that, I mean, the entrance and the look from Julia Hart looked great. So hopefully we can see her do some more in the future. But she is, I think, one of the youngest, if not the youngest, on the roster. I'm not sure if there's any teenagers, although they did sign Nick Wayne, 16-year-old, who has like, I feel like Nick Wayne has already had about 50 matches this year alone, and he's only 16 years old. So, good stuff. They've definitely got a great youth system in AEW. So next one was a pretty good one as well. Ethan Page comes out to his amazing all ego music, which we haven't really heard for in a while. Ethan Page comes in out alone, no Dan Lambert or Scorpio Sky. Ethan has a 28-10 record, and he goes to high five a fan with a Canadian flag in the crowd, but flips him off instead. His opponent is going to be WWE CW legend Colin Delaney, who gets huge cheers from his hometown Rochester crowd. And despite WWE CW being so long ago, Colin Delaney is only 35 years old, which is crazy to me. I once started a Colin Delaney chant at WrestleMania 24 when we all saw him in the press box when we were sitting in our seats. And that was so long ago. I can't believe this guy's younger than me. Anyway, Colin comes in with a 0-4 AEW record, last being seen getting the Wardlow's Powerbomb Symphony on Dynamite's New Year's Smash. That was pretty funny. So this is going to be the 16th match that both Ethan Page and Colin Delaney have been in at the same time, going all the way back to 2009, including a rivalry in A1, which led to a 3 Stages of Hell match that Ethan Page won in 2011. Ethan also beat and took Colin's AEW Absolute title back in 2013 in a 55-second match. Way to lose your title in 55 seconds. Anyway, they last met in December at Excite Fight Club, where Ethan won again. Ethan is 5-1 against Colin Delaney in singles matches. So the crowd is going wild and chanting, "Let's go, Colin." Remember, Colin in his hometown of Rochester, New York. Ethan's just laughing at this and tries to punch Colin, but Colin is able to duck the first blow. Ethan then elbows his way out of a waistlock, but Colin hits a nice arm drag, keeps the arm held for the an arm hold. That was a good looking move. Ethan then gets out of that with the head scissors, but Colin hits another arm drag. Ethan pokes the eyes to get out of this mess, hits the shoulder tackle to knock Colin to the ground. Ethan's now playing up to the crowd, getting really big boos here. And Ethan wears down Colin with more strikes, including a huge forearm to the jaw at one point. But Colin fights back, gets up, and ends up eating a running back elbow from Ethan. Ethan mounts Colin for some big punches as the crowd boos loudly. Ethan's now trash talking the fans, then lifts Colin up for a long delayed vertical suplex, then hits the bicep pose for even bigger boos. Great stuff here. Colin then dodges a corner lariat and hits some chops and strikes. Ethan counters again with another back elbow, but Colin is able to poke the eyes himself this time and the crowd goes wild for that. Colin hits a massive springboard cutter for a 2 count. Did not see that coming. These guys are showing they definitely have good chemistry together after all those times in the ring together. Ethan fights back, hits a straight jacket slam off the top rope, then an Ego's Edge. Great looking Ego's Edge for the 1-2-3. Your winner by pinfall is all Ego Ethan Page. Great match here. The crowd made it even better. Great choice to bring not only the hometown guy in, but have him fight someone he knows really well. So all around great booking here. So the star of the show, Anna Jay, is out next. She comes in with a 22-2 record in all of 2022. I mean, that's a lot of 2s and 22s. Anthony Agogo's on commentary now. Thank goodness. Agogo has been amazing on commentary on Elevation this last month or so. Anna's opponent will be Shawna Reed, who has a 0-4 AEW record. We last saw Reed lose to Diamante on Dark back in December. She's also one of the wins that Jade Cargill has racked up during her streak. Shawna Reed's from Ohio, been a pro for 6 years, and her nickname is Pretty Little Psycho. Shawna Reed's a regular on OVW, where interim baddie Layla Gray is the champion, if you didn't know that. And Shawna Reed's currently the Rhodes Wrestling Academy champion, which Dustin Rhodes is the owner of. They've only had 4 events since March 2021, but you can find all 4 of those events on YouTube. Anthony Agogo tells us all about this stuff, or at least the part where Shawna Reed is the Rhodes Academy champion. So Reed dodges up. Oh wait, no. Anna dodges a punch at the very beginning and then pulls the hair of Shawna Reed. So the announcers know, oh, that's kind of unlike Anna Jay. So potentially a tweener or a heel roll in upcoming for Anna Jay, or it was just a hair pull and it was nothing to. We'll just have to wait and see. Reed fights back, but Anna keeps control with some big strikes. We get a nice spinning heel kick and a rolling kick into the corner. This was the exact spot that Anna Jay botched in her last match. The rolling kick still needs a little bit of work on the timing, however, but it was much improved over the really bad botches in Anna Jay's last match. They reverse each other until Anna Jay then spins Shawna Reed around while Anna Jay's on her back. It was almost from like a double eat the feet position, then 180 spin into the Queen Slayer, and this forces Shawna Reed to tap out. Your winner by submission is Anna Jay, and the way that Anna Jay got the Queen Slayer on, in my opinion, looked horrible. I'm not sure if it was mistimed or it's just a bad idea in the first place, but it looked horribly contrived and fake looking. But it is good that youngsters are trying new things, especially on a YouTube show. I might be watching it, you might be watching it, but still, this is the place to try new things as opposed to a Dynamite or a Rampage. So that's all you can ask for from a 23-year-old, in my opinion. I wish that match went a little bit longer. I wanted to see a little bit more of Shawna Reed, but maybe I'll have to go start reviewing OVW if I want to see more. It's time for our main event already. This AEW really flew by. It was a really good episode, and this main event match is good as well. So it's going to be the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta versus the Factory's QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. And the Factory come out first, accompanied by Nick Camarado. This is Solo and QT's first time teaming together since losing the Bushiman at Forbidden Doors buy-in. That's Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto. And Solo and QT are 3-6 as a tag team together in AEW, but have lost their last 5 matches together as a 2-on-2 tag team. So Agogo's putting over the Factory big time on commentary. He says he feels inspired to see his coach in the ring. Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta come out now to huge cheers, and the Best Friends are wearing tie-dyed jackets and matching black and yellow pants. QT then talks trash to the crowd as usual before he even gets in the ring. So Chuck Taylor's going to start the match out with Aaron Solo. Chuck hits a nice arm drag into a leg pickup, into a half crab, all together in one fluid move. Great stuff. Solo gets to the ropes and both men tag out. Trent and QT in now. Funny exchange between Agogo and Caprice Coleman on commentary. Agogo says QT doesn't even stretch before matches. So Coleman says, well, maybe that's why his win-loss, you know what, never mind. So really funny there because it does seem weird that he wouldn't stretch, and it would make sense to why QT's win-loss record is so bad. So anyway, QT takes down Trent, but Trent's able to get up and hits a nice flapjack. Chucky T now tags in, hits a drop kick to a seated QT, then a tag to Trent. They hit a nice double team elbow drop. Solo now runs in, but the best friends do their way out of a Irish whip and then take out the factory together. They go to hug, but Nick Camarano stops it by getting up on the apron. Then the referee's distracted by QT, and Nick slams Trent hard on the apron. Solo now takes control back in the ring and tags in QT. QT's working over the crowd to get more boos and punches Chucky T off the apron, getting some decent heel heat here. And Trent then hits a standing clothesline to counter QT's charge at him. That looked great. I think QT did the Rikichi bump off of it. And like I said, it wasn't a lariat or anything. It was just a standing clothesline. That looked good. Before Trent can tag out, however, Solo pulls Chucky T off the apron. Then they hit a double team move on Trent. Then the factory give the people what they want with the best friends hug. And then the crowd and the camera even panned out. So the crowd boos this heavily. That was pretty funny. Um, Trent then counters and tags in the Chuck. Chuck then takes out both men, hitting a back body drop that looked great on QT. Then a knee to QT's face and a dive outside to both men. The crowd's going wild at this flurry, and so are the announcers. QT then grabs Chuck's leg from behind, but that didn't really do anything. There was a blind tag from Trent, so the best friends are able to keep control. They hit a great double team move on Solo, and Trent hits a perfect Shining Wizard on Solo, but QT's in to make the save on the pinfall. QT's able to tag in now right after that and shoves Chucky off the apron. Then QT out of nowhere hits a springboard kick to Trent. That looked awesome. This and then signals for the diamond cutter, which I have to remind everybody every time there's a QT Marshall match. There nobody has ever kicked out of QT's diamond cutter, the most protected finisher in all of AEW. Trent's able to fight back and knock Solo off the apron. No diamond cutter was even attempted. Then Trent hits a crossbody, but QT is able to roll through for a cover. Chucky T felt like that was a little dangerous, so comes in to break the pin. Nick then throws Chucky T face first into a chair behind the referee's back as QT hits a pile driver on Trent Beretta. Trent's just barely able to kick out of that one. Solo now tags in, goes up top, but Chuck Taylor's already back, shoves Solo off the top. Nick tries another cheap shot, but Chuck reverses it into sending Nick into the ring post. That was a good looking move. QT then dives immediately after that on trying to dive onto Chucky T, but Chuck dodges it. Again, great stuff here. Chuck then goes to the top rope and is already set up by Trent for the Spike Dude Buster Strong Zero combo for the 1-2-3 on Solo. Great match, great episode of Elevation. Dark on Tuesday also looks amazing. We've got Thunder Rosa versus Yamashita for a shot at the title if Miyu can win. And then we've also got the first ever All Atlantic title defense in the United Kingdom at Rev Pro against Shota Umino, who we saw at Forbidden Door in the opening match on the card in that amazing 6-man tag with Jericho and Blackpool Combat Club. So great stuff here. I loved both BTE and Dark Elevation on Monday today. So I'm really, like I said, I'm really looking forward to Dark tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow with my Dark review, as well as I heard it was a pretty good AEW with RJ City with special guest, not only Nyla Rose, but Vicky Guerrero as well. So I'll be back tomorrow with the review of AEW and Dark. So I'll talk to you guys then. Have a good one. Peace.